that came up here and gave testimony to having gone through hard times and come out on top of it. Congratulations to you. And thank you for this honor and this recognition. And thank you for having me represent you for the last 20 years. It has been my privilege, believe me. No surprise when you listed the sponsors of this evening's event. I mean, they're my peeps. These are my folks. And it is so nice to be honored by the people that you represent and recognize to be such hard workers in your community, which I thank you for. And I congratulate Stand Up for Neighborly Novato for having over 1,000 signatures on your and endorsements on your project. That's a big deal. 1,000 signatures for anything in this day and age is very meaningful, but when it's to help those who have less than you do, in most instances, it really says a lot about the community you live in. And that's one of the reasons I've considered it such a joy to represent the 6th Congressional District, except for the fact that I had to be on an airplane every Monday going to D.C. and would be home on an airplane every Friday to come home. That was not a joy. But doing the job and the work for a district that is made up of people who actually pay attention, who are well educated, if not one of the best educated districts in the country. One of the most affluent, and that's true, which means as your representative, when Marin County or my district in general would need something, a lot of members around the country would go, oh, poo-poo, what are you talking about? Marin County, you don't need anything. And it would be my opportunity to say, well, excuse me, the people in this district, for the most part, being well off, pay the highest taxes in the country. They expect services for those in their community who actually need help. And that was a good argument. It worked. But your effort and proof in the pudding today with these women testifying what this means to them has ensured that more people can work in Novato and also live in Novato. That is such a gift. And those who have lived and worked in the community and now have retired, well, there's some assurance here that they will be able to live in dignity and in their own community. And those who are less fortunate are given, with this, your effort, a leg up, a base, a place to raise their children, a place to call home, a place to be proud of. So that base is where you go to go to your place of employment, your children's school, your own school, and you know you have a place that's yours when you get back. And your efforts contribute to this wonderful community's diversity. And that's what makes this community as great as it is. We're all different, thank heavens. And we care about each other. I don't know if you know it, but the combination of the 6th Congressional District with Marin and Sonoma County, it's sort of changed now, had a 93.5% voter turnout in the last presidential election. You know what that says? That says that the people who live here are involved, they care, and they let their voices be heard. And the people in this community are letting their voices be heard, saying that Stand Up for Neighborly Novato is who they are. And we can all be very proud of that. Now I want to say to Pat Eklund, who said nice things about Hamilton, which was quite a deal. It was the first conversion of any base in the country, the first successful conversion from military to community. And it wasn't any of the, I mean, I thank you for honoring and, you know, thanking me for the things I did, but the thing that I did that made the difference was get the commandant on the telephone and threaten him. Listen, you do what that community is asking, because they're not asking more than they can give and more than the community wants and will support. You do that, or you're going to own Hamilton forevermore. And they believed me. And they believed Judy Arnold when she did them too. Because that was it. I mean, you don't get to just do it the way you want to, federal government. You get to work with the community so that it works for them as well as for you. So I'd just like to say something about my story. And I'm sure it has a lot to do with where I come from as an elected official, as a member of the Petaluma City Council for 8 years. The COPS program up there for the homeless was the first in the North Bay, and it's a very successful project, and that happened with me on the Petaluma City Council, nagging at the city manager and insisting that no, every homeless person in the Bay Area wouldn't move to Petaluma. You know, come on. There are homeless people that live in Petaluma. So, but a lot of that comes from the fact that when my children were 1, 3, and 5 years old, and the individual that was 5 at the time is my son, who is sitting here, Joe Critchett. Thank you, honey. Their dad was emotionally ill, mentally ill, refused to get help. And so I was a single mom with these 3 little kids. I had never intended to work. So I told you he's 50 now, so you know that was 45 years ago. Do the math. And I was, you know, I grew up thinking Good Housekeeping magazine was my Bible. You clean, keep a good house, you learn to bake pies, and you entertain your husband's business, you know, partners and all that. And you do a good job of it, and that's what you're supposed to do, but you do, if you're me, you do the very best you can. It didn't work. You know, it all just exploded. So here I was with 3 wonderful children, had to go back to work, because somebody, that was our support. So I got a job in San Francisco, and it just didn't pay enough to cover, you know, the overhead. So we lived up in the hills of Corte Madera, and right away that house, really, I sold it. Just before it was taken away from us, I got $500 in our washer and dryer and our furniture, and my 3 kids. That was all that was important. And, you know, I wasn't about it. It was like, you know, we've got them. That's the important thing. And went to work and still couldn't cover the overhead. So a friend said, hey, do you know anything about aid for dependent children? Huh? Didn't. So lived in Marin County, lucky me. Went on aid for dependent children. Paid enough to keep food on the table, rent for a small cottage, little 2-bedroom cottage in San Anselmo, shoes, these kids grew out of shoes every 3 months, and we got going again. So just about 3 years later, I was off of welfare. Well, welfare at that time actually made a difference in your life. There is a difference. And it did put a floor under what could happen to you. So, you know, bad times. Lucky us. It was the right time to be in bad times. So, but never did I forget what that meant. Because I'd say to my friends, I don't know how most of these women get through this. Because I was educated, I had a college education, I had job skills. I was healthy, my children were healthy, and you know I was outspoken. So I knew how, you know, I was hated what was happening, but I wasn't totally intimidated. But my friends would say, well, what do you care? You just get on with your life. I cared. And there was never anything in this Congresswoman that said, I did it, so can you. I had 3 little kids. I did it. I was lucky. I had everything going for me, except for we didn't have any money. And we had none. But that went to the city council with me. I was an executive, and I was the one fighting always for the assembly workers and making sure that they got a fair shake. And I walked into the executive meeting one day. I was the only female executive at Digital Telephone Systems in Novato. I don't know if you all remember who they were. And I heard the president of the company saying, you know why she fights so hard for the assembly managed supervisors is because they're all women. And I said, yeah. You treat them differently than, you know, they get paid on a different scale than the technician supervisors because they're all men. Figure it out. So, forever fighting to make a difference. Got elected to Congress, used my story, not really used it, but I was running against these 8 men. And I thought, why am I so different than they are? I mean, it was, you know, obviously I was a woman and a mother, but there was something that I went, oh my gosh, I have experienced something. I have lived through something these guys can never even imagine. And I started telling my story. And here we were in affluent, wonderful Marin County, who really said, we like this woman, she's walked her talk. And what that meant to me is you don't just get elected because you did something and experienced something. You take that with you and you make something out of it. And I would, right away, my staff started advising me, well now, you know the first thing that, one of the first things Bill Clinton did was the welfare reform. And I was the co-chair in the House, and it was my second term. That was unusual, but they thought they were doing it because I'd been on welfare and I should just have my name out there. But I didn't, what? You don't put me on something and not have me work on it and have an opinion. So anyway, I would, you know, go down on the floor and talk about having been on welfare, and I'd hear the Republicans say, yeah, but you're different. I mean, I'd hear them, oh yeah, but she's not like other people on welfare. And baloney, you know, a white woman with 3 children is exactly the example of a welfare mom. A Caucasian woman, 2 children, on welfare, 2 to 3 years because the dad left the kids, the family. And they just couldn't believe that it was, you know, it was not another profile. So my staff would say, don't be talking about welfare all the time. People are going to think that's all you're about. You know, well, that's a risk. And I said, well, excuse me, if I can't talk about it, who in this place can? You know, okay, there she goes again. But I mean, that is what it's about. It's about thanking you for doing what you're doing. You women that are coming up and taking advantage of what other people are doing to make things a little bit easier for you. And this amazing stand-up for neighborly Novato, making a statement that this is a community we can all be proud to live in, because you know it is a win-win. everybody wins when everybody has a fair shake. And I thank you for letting me be part of your life all these last 20 years. I'm not disappearing, but this is a real honor. Thank you very, very much.
What a testament to solidarity. Thank you, Lynn. As a token of our esteem, we have a Novato gift basket for you. I won't make you hold it, but it's right here.
I brought my holder with me.
Okay. In it is some coffee from Coffee Roasters, honey from Lanham Village Neighbors, truffles and jam from Homeward Bound, a signed book from me, and tea from Nevada's own Republic of Tea. That concludes our program. Thank you so much for attending. And as we work to make sure Nevada's future includes plans for reasonably priced homes, please join us. Lynn talked about the 1,000 signatures. We'd like to get it up higher than that. So if you have not signed up as an endorser, please do. And also take one of the window clings. They don't stick to your window. You can take them off easily, but you can put them in the back window to let others know that we're here to create good communities where all can thrive. Thank you.